Good evening. Welcome to LFC Daytrippers. We are the Red Sea podcast and we are your Red Sea full-time team. You are with myself, the Southern Scouser, and you will be joined by James, Thiago's father, very shortly to talk all the way through the game from tonight. Liverpool 3, Osasuna 1. Let's get into it. Here we go then. Roles reversed tonight. James, you are in a very dark Anfield car park. How was the game? Oh, hello. Have we got you, James? No, I think I might have lost him. Hopefully we'll try and get James back any moment now. But yeah, guys, you are locked into the LFC Daytrippers. This is the Red Sea podcast, and we are going to bring you all the Red Sea reaction from tonight's game. Obviously, Liverpool 3-1 winners against Osasuna in tonight's match. Second game in 2 days. A very different 11 to what we saw last night. The lineup totally different. All the players that we didn't see against Bilbao did feature tonight. Very similar bench as well to last night, with a few youngsters also getting their chance. But interesting to see the return of a few players, especially Henderson and Thiago, and the Brazilians as well, Firmino and Fabinho as well. So I wasn't too sure how close they were to match fitness, but to see them get some decent minutes and for Firmino to get a couple of goals as well was really, really good. So hopefully we'll get James back, who was actually at the game tonight. I myself attended the Bilbao match last night, and yeah, we've roles reversed. So we're going to get through all your comments, guys. So keep them coming in. Lots of interaction is always good. So first comment in from Daz. He was raring to go 20 minutes before we went live. Delighted that that's a wrap for the friendlies. Ox looking sharp. Samikas was again very good. Kanate had a good preseason. Completely agree with you. Hopefully that's James back. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. StreamYard kicked me out. I don't know what's going on there, but we're here, live and direct.
You're in a very dark car park with your sons. How did you enjoy tonight's game? Taking your family along, bud?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. First game for the middle one. He's in the back here as well.
There he is.
He loved life as per normal. Heading over to the club shop and getting absolutely raided by 2 boys. What can I say? But no, it was a good performance. It was a good performance. Obviously, I know you went to the game yesterday, and I think that I got the better end of the bargain today.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of personnel, I might have just edged it, but definitely in terms of the result, my 100% record for watching Liverpool was gone. But yeah, yours, very much intact. 3-0 win, 3-1 winners, I should say. Who stood out for you tonight? Obviously, Minamino. The first goal's been taken off him, but Bobby on the score sheet, back what he's doing, what he does, really.
Yeah, I think Minamino was bright. He looked active. He looked like he wanted to get involved. He looked like he was hungry for a goal. I think he needs to do a bit of gym work, personally. He's very slight in terms of his stature and his build, and he kept on getting knocked off the ball, which I don't think helped him. Whereas if you see how Bobby is, Bobby's quite built. And again, when Bobby first came to the league, again, he was very, very slight in his build. But you can see that he's put a lot of work in the gym to get to that level where he's able to compete in the Premier League week in, week out. And I feel that's what Minamino does. He wasn't lacking quality because he was hungry in terms of getting forward towards the goal and actually trying to get into positions where he can get on the score sheet. Yeah. So I was impressed with Taki's performance tonight, actually. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you there. I think the first 10 minutes or so, he was a bit all over the place. He was falling over again. And I thought, here we go again. I was a bit active in the WhatsApp saying, here he goes again, doing his League 2 performance. But he must have heard me, mustn't he? He got involved. He was obviously the reason for the first goal. He was a nice link up with Samikas for the second one as well, which led to Firmino tapping it in. And yeah, and then Firmino for his second goal looked like he had about a million years to decide what to do in the box, didn't he? So I think that was probably the pick of the bunch.
I agree, and it was a phenomenal goal. The movement was fantastic as well, and that's something I really want to praise in this game. In yesterday's game, the movement looked a little bit stale, Whereas today it was quite free flowing, which was nice to see. I don't know if that's the quality of the opponent or more to do with our tactical play. I don't want to give Osasuna too much credit, but we looked good, we looked bright. And another player which looked like he was at it today was Oxlade-Chamberlain. He was everywhere. He was at the heart of absolutely everything that Liverpool did good tonight. Not only going forward, but his recovery of the ball as well. Absolutely fantastic seeing him tracking back and winning the ball, deep in our own half, and then trying to burst forward with the ball as well, which was absolutely fantastic.
No, I agree. I mean, I was just saying just before you came back on that it was a very different 11 to what we saw at the Bilbao game. A few different combinations. I wondered what you made of the Gomez-Canate combo at the back, the first time we've seen that.
And again, really, really good to see, really positive. And it was nice seeing Joe Gomez actually take the lead. He'd come in for criticism for his leadership skills. And, I felt that's a bit harsh because, when Van Dijk went out injured, he stepped up to the plate and he was acting like a leader in that back four somewhat. But today he showed again that he has got that leadership ability. You're seeing him actually, direct and say to Canate, fall in line. Tsimikas as well, get in line. Over the other side as well with Nico Williams, get in line. So he was holding the line really, really well. He was always an option for the ball also. So when Kevin Callahan had the ball, he was actually looking to receive the ball. And Virgil is famed for that 40-yard cross-field ping. You were seeing Joe Gomez trying to get his hands on that little bit of skill as well in terms of what he can do. And that was nice to see also. And it's good to see him come through a sustained period on the pitch. We've seen both Virgil and Joe Gomez get 70-odd minutes now, which is only a good sign. Hopefully there's no reaction to the knee injury, because that's the key thing. Not necessarily the minutes which you play on the pitch, but what happens after that.
Yeah, I agree. And it was nice to be able to see Gomez put the afterburners on when he needed to. When there was a chance at the back, they got in behind the goal, but he's got that ability to still just sprint and pretty much sweep up at the back just by using his pace, which is something that I think a lot of Liverpool fans were worried he might lose with that serious knee injury. But seeing him with the pace and then Canate with the strength next to him, there was a moment in the second half where he was sort of just taking on 3 or 4 players and just barging them out of the way, and just it looked like he'd lost the ball 2 or 3 times, but his body weight, his strength, and his long legs just kept poking it through. So I agree. I really enjoyed seeing those two together, and it was interesting the decision of who he paired. Obviously Matip and Van Dijk yesterday, and a Gomez-Canate partnership today. So hopefully those 4 stay fit, and the likes of Phillips, who obviously didn't feature today, may be looking at moving on if Ben Davies is getting minutes, and Reece Williams in recent games as well. But it's one question that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of the back 4. Obviously we saw Robertson go down with that injury yesterday. There's pictures on Twitter today of him in the protective boot, very similar to the Harry Maguire injury towards the end of last season, which kept him out for about 2 months. So I think we could be without Robbo till probably start to the middle of October, which is going to be a bit of a blow. But I just wanted to ask you the question. Kostas Tsimikas is the obvious one. We touched on it briefly in yesterday's show, but Beck as well has come in and looked pretty decent as well. So who starts for you out of those two?
Tsimikas all day long. I've always said from the start that Tsimikas is a decent player. He just needed that sustained period of time to actually get his feet under the table. And his final ball is very, very good. He's very accomplished with his final ball. And that's what we brought him for, is his crossing ability. He looked confident as well, which was nice to see from a player who's been in and out of the squad and not really had an opportunity to nail down a place. I think that Tsimikas could really stake a claim and actually show that he can be an option. He's never going to replace Robbo. We know as soon as Robbo's fit again, he slots straight back in. But ultimately, it's him showing that, do you know what? When Andy Robertson is injured or is unavailable or needs a rest, I can be an able deputy. And that is what we were lacking last season. We were lacking that rotation option. Players that could come into the team and actually do a job when we needed them to do it. We had bodies, but none of them were good enough. None of them stepped up to the plate at the time. And hopefully, with a sustained pre-season under their belts, we're going to see more of these squad players and rotation players actually step up and do the job we need them to do.
No, I agree with you. I mean, like you say, Robertson was one of those untouchables last season, wasn't he? He was very rarely ever missing. But we had this conversation again on the Red Sea Podcast. And guys, if you're not giving us a follow yet or a subscribe, go and find us at the Red Sea Podcast on YouTube, the Red Sea Pod on Twitter, and the Red Sea Pod on Instagram as well. so you don't miss a thing. There's going to be lots coming your way from ourselves and continued on the LFC Daytrippers as well. But I think Robertson, we mentioned on our show, eventually these players that haven't been injured are going to miss games. They're going to pick up an injury in their career. And, Robertson was definitely one of those that had been quite lucky so far. I think it was coming, but for once we've actually got a left back that can step in and, all right, like you say, that the opponents weren't exactly exceptional, especially in the first half, but Tsimikas looked decent. He got the assist, he got the crosses in. And I agree. I think the only way he does improve is with time. So, he's going to get an added sustained period of time in the team now for a couple of months. But I agree with you. It's up to him to nail down that spot. But with someone like Robertson coming back, even from injury, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to keep him out, really. But looking in terms of the other end of the pitch, mate, in terms of the goals, I just wanted to touch on Bobby. Obviously, first game back, really, since the Copa America. Didn't look like he'd lost a lot of fitness or sharpness. It looked like he used the rest quite well and the summer, and he looks recharged. And do you think that maybe we're a bit premature on looking at new strikers? Do you think Jota and Firmino have got it covered next season?
No, I still want to see one more come in, and that's not to Bobby's detriment. I feel that when there is sustained competition, you see a rise in performances, and we saw that when Jota came in last year. That Jota came in, Bobby's performances lifted, Mane's performances sort of lifted as well. The only untouchable in that front three is Mo Salah, because he offers all of the goals at the moment. They're not, the other two aren't contributing to the same level as Mo Salah. So I want to see someone come into that team. And I'm not saying someone who's going to take Bobby's place, because I still think Bobby Firmino has a lot to offer Liverpool Football Club. But what I do want to see is someone come into that team and someone come into that front three that's able to play understudy, play backup, and then when the time is right, to phase Bobby out, whether that be into a squad rotation role or whether that be to pastures new, that player is ready to rock and roll and ready to step in and do the job. Bobby looked bright tonight. Like you said, he's not really lost a yard of pace. The Copa America, he was playing in as well. He played a few cameo performances in there as well, which was good to see. But tonight he was active, he was busy, and again, ball recovery was absolutely fantastic. He was getting involved, he was breaking stuff up, he was play. He was passing the ball, moving the ball, looking to break the lines as well, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. Nice comment here from Elite Gaming, the South Scouse, sorry, not Southgate. It's just a beautiful human being. Love your analysis, mate. Thank you for the comment. That's really kind of you. Brendan Rodgers' favourite words, isn't it? Beautiful human being. But yeah, a lot of people agreeing with you. Bobby's found his touch. He definitely looked like a man that wanted to go again. And, I've mentioned in the past that Bobby's really been missing for, the best part of 18 months to 2 years now. So wouldn't it be great if he could find that, that kind of 2017-18 levels again and start hitting some big numbers, and hopefully Mane and Salah can continue what they do, and hopefully we can start to score more goals and put some of these, Premier League sides to bed that realistically we weren't really doing last season. That we've seen Liverpool, especially at Anfield, blow teams away in the first half an hour in the Champions League, in the Premier League, and teams can't handle the pressure and the presence of the Anfield crowd, which is something I think we missed badly last season. So hopefully this is, obviously yesterday's result wasn't ideal, but hopefully going into that Norwich game, there's good signs. I think that Liverpool are hopefully, even without a couple of new signings, which looks unlikely for next weekend, it potentially before the end of the window, but it looks promising, doesn't it? We've put 2 11s out tonight and last night, and realistically the second halves I think weren't ideal, but definitely positives from last night and today's game, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it was nice to see Liverpool actually get on the front foot against an opposition. One bit of credit to Osasuna, they're incredibly physical side. They're very physical. And that is what I think Liverpool needed. They needed to be roughed up a little bit. They haven't had that in pre-season. They needed that opportunity to prepare for the kind of test that they're going to have at Carrow Road next week. Because Norwich are going to come and want to play football. They're not going to come and want to roll over. They're going to have a point to prove. They're going to want to be able to say that we actually belong in this league. And obviously, Norwich seem to be our whooping boys. As I said the other day, we should rename Carrow Road the Suarez Stadium, because year on year we just went there and absolutely tore them apart. So they're going to come and want to prove that they can actually play football and try and exercise some demons. And back to Osasuna, they were like I said, they were incredibly physical. They were a little bit dirty at times as well. You saw a bit of pushing, a bit of shoving, but Yeah, a couple of challenges, but all in good spirit and all in the spirit of the game. But I think Liverpool needed that.
No, I agree, and there's a few people in the comments also mentioning you touched on Chamberlain, we've touched on Minamino. Do these friendlies almost give us an excuse to not go into the market, or do you agree with Midnight Toker that Klopp does still need to get a couple in?
I totally agree. I don't think these performances mask where Liverpool are currently at in terms of their squad. And the starting 11 is absolutely sensational. Our starting 11 will go toe-to-toe with any starting 11 in the Premier League, and I will back our starting 11 to get the result. I don't care if Manchester City have signed Grealish. I don't care if Manchester City are about to try and sign Harry Kane. I couldn't give two hoots that Chelsea are looking to sign Lukaku. I couldn't give a damn. Our starting 11 is better. We have the ability to blow these teams away. Where we fall down is the backup brigade. We've spoken about it on many, many occasions, that the backup brigade are always found wanting. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has got a big season ahead of him.
Yeah.
As long as he stays with the club. There's rumours which have been surfacing. My DMs have been blowing up with certain people talking to me about potential moves out of the club for Oxlade-Chamberlain. It seems that Southampton have been the latest club linked. Previous to that, it was Wolves. He's not short of being linked with a move away of the club. But I'd like to see Oxlade-Chamberlain stay. He's not someone who's on my list of players which I would earmark for a departure. There's many, many more that are on that list before him. And it brings me nicely on to Divock Origi.
Yeah.
I have had enough.
You took my next step. Well done.
Mate, I have had enough. I've had my fill. When you're going to a game with your two young lads and even they're spotting it and saying, Dad, what is this bloke doing on the pitch? Like, honestly, he just looks lost. He looks lost. Like, he gets the ball and he's slow to release it. There was about 2 or 3 occasions where if he just gets his head up, just slip your buddy in. Slip your pal in. Give him the fucking ball. That's all you got to do. Like, give him the ball and then maybe you can go again. You might get it back. Like, I talk about it, lend and share, then look to receive again. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do it. Like, he wants to hold the ball up all the time and try and get into pockets. And you're not that guy. You're a powerful striker. Give the ball to someone wide and get your ass in the fucking box. It's as simple as that.
Now, I love the energy and the passion because, sitting at home watching it on my laptop, I felt the same way. I was thinking, how is this guy still here? How is this guy still getting minutes for this football club? Because he's miles off it, isn't he? The touch is poor. The finishing is poor. The decision making is shocking. And he should have really gone on a high after that Champions League final. We've both said it in previous shows over at the Red Sea podcast. And I agree. We cannot go into another season with Origi as the first, the first backup to the strikers. The front four is the front four.
Way.
But
no way.
We can't be seeing Origi get any more minutes. I think the time has come, and there's a good comment here from Arj or Arg. Squad depth. Some Origi, Shaqiri wasn't involved tonight. Nat Phillips again wasn't involved tonight. Do you think they're the next 3 that we move on?
Yeah, I think Shaq. He's been open that he wants to move. Nat Phillips is a player which is going to command his highest value
right now.
So the club may look to cash in. I mean, with Divock Origi, he's clung on by his fingernails. In the year before last, when he was meant to move, he was linked with a move to Schalke, and he said, "No, I'm happy being a backup. I'm happy being an understudy. I'm happy sitting here just taking a wage and not really doing much." And he's a player, and respect to him. He's had moments. You think about the Champions League final. You think about the Barcelona game. You think about the Everton game. They're moments, but he's had more bad moments than he's had good moments. He's not a bad player. He's just gone stale. He's stale. He needs a move to reinvigorate his career. He needs that move to go again. He needs to go again. And whether that be in the Premier League or whether that be in Germany or in Holland or somewhere, I don't know. But somewhere pretty soon, the kid needs to get a move. And Shaq, there's links to Lazio, whether he's going to go there. There's also links surfacing as well. My DMs have been popping into Milan. could be interested in Xherdan Shaqiri. He's been there before. Wasn't a successful period of time when he was at Inter Milan, but they could be interested. So it looks like Serie A is the place where he could be plying his trade next season.
No, I agree. I think we saw a couple of players return tonight. Henderson and your man Thiago both came on together, which was lovely to see. But I agree. I think realistically, you mentioned Manchester City. They can only play 11 players. They might have 78 internationals in their squad, but they can only play 11. And realistically, Liverpool are going to be playing 15, 16 players in the Champions League and the Premier League. So as long as we've got the majority of that 15, 16 fit, there's absolutely no reason why we can't attack those two big trophies again. I still think we're a bit short for the cup competitions. I don't think we're ready to go out in all four competitions again just yet. Although some of the youngsters tonight did look pretty good. So I was just going to ask you, coming on to that, in terms of the youngsters, the likes of Beck, Clarkson, even Woodburn having a second go at his Liverpool career, did anybody particularly stand out for you in the under-23s?
Not really. I didn't sit there and think to myself, that kid can make it at first team level. None of them gave me that feeling that they've got what it takes at this present time to kick on and be even in and around the first team at the moment. There was still a lot of direction needed on the football pitch from a lot of the more senior players. And when you're seeing that tells me that you can have all the skill that you want in the world. You're not mentally at that stage yet. You're not mentally prepared to play a role. Yeah, it's a huge step. It's a huge step. And I was on a space last night with Grizz. Shout out Grizz Khan from obviously LFC Daytrippers as well. And we were talking about this, and we were talking about how the academies levels have gone up. They have. The academy are starting to produce players. We've seen in recent years Trent, Curtis Jones coming through the academy now as well. Harvey Elliott obviously playing some role in the academy, but he wasn't an academy project. We brought him in for a nominal fee. So there are players that, Reece Williams also, Nat Phillips. There are players that are starting to break through and emerge, and it's been a long time since we've had that. The kind of the golden age of when we saw, a certain Steven Gerrard, a Carragher coming through. And there was more in and around that. Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler.
Fowler,
Maka. We've not had a sustained number of players come through the academy for a long period of time. But the move to Kirkby is a big thing. That is going to be instrumental in starting to bring these academy players on and actually get them to the level that we need to get them to. We've been compared to Chelsea for a long time in terms of what Chelsea do and how they bring through the youth and so on and so forth and loan them out and, sell them for big fees. And players they sell for big fees, they seem to buy them back for even bigger fees. Hint, hint. But, if we can do half of that, then we'll be some way forward. We've seen Rhian Brewster go for a fee of £25 million and barely kick a ball at Sheffield United. So we're getting there. We really are.
I mean, I think Gordon was probably the one that everybody's lips. Still only 16, did have an early chance. He did just put it wide, and it was actually offside. So yeah, I do think there are bright sparks in there. But I agree, the only youngster that's really caught my eye is Harvey Elliott, and rightly so. It looks like he's going to be sticking around to take part in the first team and in and around that 16, 17 players that we're mentioning. Being involved in the big competitions, not just a Mansfield away in the Carabao Cup kind of player, but actually involved and integrated into that first team. And seeing him yesterday, just to touch on that Bilbao game, he was exceptional. Even in the warm-up, just absolutely outrageous. So it looks like that's the right decision to keep him in and around the squad. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. Lots to kind of take away from both games. But I thought I'd just put you on the spot for a minute, James, and ask you to predict the 11 that will be taking on Norwich.
Hey. Okay.
I'll help you if you need any.
Left. Okay, so goalkeeper Alisson Becker.
Let us know in the comments, guys, as well, what your 11s are for the Norwich game.
Yeah, goalkeeper Alisson Becker. Left to right, we're going Tsimikas. I think Konate and Matip will be the two.
Okay.
I think Trent will obviously start. the midfield three is the tricky one.
Tough.
Because you've seen Hendo get minutes today as well, but I don't think he'll be risked. Thiago's got minutes again today, but I don't think he'll be risked. Fabinho will definitely start. And then I think you'll see Harvey Elliott, and I don't know if it will be Naby Keita or the Ox.
Or Milner as well.
Or I can't see Milner starting at Norwich. I can't see it. I can't see it. I would go, because I think Liverpool are going to want to get on the front foot. I can see Milner making a cameo in that game to close the game out.
Okay.
But I feel I'm going to go Keita. I'm going to go Keita in the Ox, and then Harvey Elliott to come on, because I think we're going to want to make a statement in that game.
Mm.
They're the three most experienced personnel of who's available in that midfield. Front three: Mane, Jota, Salah.
Okay, so Firmino's not done enough today for you to start that game.
No, I think the game comes too early. Jota's looked bright. He had a good Euro Championships as well. He's come back in. He's hit the ground running. He's looked really sharp. He's looked very, very sharp. So he just edges it for me in terms of his preparations at the moment.
Oh, that's good. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that there's a couple of positions, especially in the midfield and up front, where it's more about opinion and there's a few different options. It's not just pick the 11 that's available that we did last season, towards the mid part, especially when there was just 11 players fit and you get them all on the pitch at the same time, even if there's no centre backs in that 11. But some good options there. And Kevin's straight in with his 11, very similar to yours, possibly Ox, but he thinks Naby gets the nod with Milner in midfield. Let me just get a few more up as well. So we've got Stu, he's going Konate and Virgil. So one thing that I did want to mention to you, you mentioned Konate and Matip as the starting centre halves, and probably a week ago I would have agreed with you. But is there something in the fact that they didn't actually play together in either of these games? I would have thought that if they were the partnership for Norwich, they would have played together on the same day.
No, not necessarily. I think Klopp's trying to look at his options. He's trying to look at his pairings to see that all four of them can actually play together. I think that's going to be the crucial thing, is because rotation is going to be key. We don't know how Van Dijk and Joe Gomez are going to react to their injuries going through the course of the season. So Klopp's going to want to see that Konate can partner Joe Gomez, and he's going to want to see that Matip can partner Van Dijk. The one we're all looking forward to seeing, and this is no discredit to Matip or Joe Gomez, is Konate and Van Dijk. That's the one we're all looking forward to seeing. That's the blockbuster. It is, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's the one that looks the most sexy, doesn't it? Let's keep it real. That's the one that everybody wants to see. Are we going to see the two big men actually make an appearance together and play a sustained period of time together? That's a combination we haven't seen yet. So I think it's a shrewd move from Klopp to turn around and say, look, I'm going to mix you up a little bit. I'm going to see how you get on. I'm going to pair you up with each other. You need to get the chemistry, the understanding there, because those two are the big powerhouses, aren't they? So they need that little bit of sort of movement in around that pairing to make sure that they're prepared for whatever's thrown at them.
No, I would agree. I mean, like you say, Gomez only played an hour today. Konate played 80. Matip played the whole 90 minutes yesterday, and Van Dijk around the 70-minute mark. So it does make sense what you're saying. The two that have got the most minutes in the bank from not just the last two games, but the entire pre-season, it makes sense that they will be starting together against Norwich. But could we potentially see a front four, at any point in that game, even maybe from the start with Jota, Mane, Salah, and Firmino? We've seen Klopp try it, and playing against the newly promoted side, what a better way to start and to go and smash them with some goals.
I have a different idea. I think this front four of Jota, Mane, Salah, and Firmino is going to be disrupted.
Oh,
and the player that's going to disrupt them is Harvey Elliott, because if we look at when we had a certain Philip Coutinho, you look at the way that Harvey Elliott's played. He's coming from deep. He's making things happen. He's playmaking, but he's also looking to take shots. Now, I'm slightly critical of his shooting ability, but again, it reminds me of where Coutinho was when he first came into the club. He could shoot, but the accuracy and power, which we saw later on in his Liverpool career, wasn't there at the beginning of his Liverpool career. I feel Harvey Elliott is at a very, very similar place to where Phil Coutinho was when he first came in to the team. He's got the ability to break down defenses. You can see what he's been doing from deep, receiving the ball, looking to play, looking to switch, looking to interact with his teammates. If there's going to be a front four or a re-emergence of the Fab Four, I think Elliott's included in that. So it will either be a combination of Jota, Mane, Salah, Firmino, Mane, Salah, or whatever, and Harvey Elliott. That is what will make that front four for me personally.
Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, Kev's in the comments. A regular watcher of the Red Sea podcast and LFC Daytrippers. He doesn't think we're going to see Elliott till the League Cup starts. Personally, I think that's harsh. I think he's going to be involved, maybe not from the start, but I think we're going to see him involved in the Premier League.
I do too. I think that's very harsh. The kid's put some blockbuster performances in that warrant, some sustained football in the Premier League. Maybe we're not going to see him in the blockbuster games like your Chelseas, your Manchester Cities, your Uniteds, but I certainly feel that we could see him against, your Villas, your Palaces, your Evertons, your teams that are kind of
slid that one in there.
Yeah, 100%. Everton are shit, but never mind. At the end of the day, they're a team which have got some danger men in there. But I feel like we'll see Harvey Elliott play against the likes of those. But Klopp might turn around and say, do you know what, kid? As the saying goes, as we've heard and has always been quoted by a certain Stevie Highwayman back in the day. Yeah. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Simple as that. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And he seems like he's plenty good enough. So he's plenty old enough. So get him involved.
I agree. There's very, very mixed comments. A lot of people saying that he could start in the Premier League against Norwich. Other people saying he's nowhere near ready. So it's one for him to convince everybody else that he is ready for that by his performances. So when he does get that chance, trust me, he's going to prove you guys wrong. He is going to play well. He's going to keep his place, not necessarily in 11, but definitely in that first 14, 15, I think, for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us, guys. Obviously, James has got to make his way back now, all the way back home to Bedford, where we're from. So we, our Southern Scousers, mate, as we're known, the outsiders, just as much passion as everyone else, right?
Mate, totally. And listen, my voice is going because even though it was a friendly, me and the boys were singing at the top of our voices. It was good. As I said, it's my middle son's first time at Anfield, and we've got a bit of a long-standing tradition that you only go when you reach to a certain age. It's a kind of a coming of an age thing, and he got his first scarf, and obviously, as I said, absolutely annihilated me in the club shop. But he's sat in the back now, looking at me, going, "Dad, I've had a long day.
Bless him.
I'm ready to hit the road now, so I can dream and think of memories of heading to Anfield again." But did you have a good time, boys?
Yeah.
That's what we want. Well done, lads.
He's not happy, look. He's not happy, buddy.
No, it's good stuff, mate. But we'll be back. Obviously, Daytrippers are on most weekday nights, so give them a subscribe, guys. We're back on Tuesday. We've got James Pearce on for Transfer Tuesday, so it's going to be a really good show. That's going to be 8 p.m. Over on the Red Sea podcast. So give us a search on YouTube, guys, and give us a subscribe so you don't miss a show. But obviously, don't forget to tune into all the LFC Daytripper stuff. They've really, really grown this season. We've got the pre-match show. We're going to be your post-match show all the way through the season. So, guys, that's been us, and we will see you next time. All the best.
Thanks, guys.